What song this is, but we'll start with this. Oh, this is a head bobble too. How's your day?
This is like, this song it should be like the Tiggs intro.
I played the song one way. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another episode of your favorite podcast from the Kali, by the Kali, for the Kali, and beyond. It's obviously your usual hosts. We got Captain, we got myself, my name, and today we have an extremely special guest, not just for us, but for you all too. We got Mr. Delroy Swartz with us today. Clapping sounds. Welcome, bro. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me, bro.
Just to give you all a small background, a half an hour background on Delroy. He's got such a big heart. He rocked up to the interview with a mic for us. We just asked him to bring himself, and he brought us a mic. I don't know if he's saying our sound is bad or he was just trying to bless us. We don't know, but we appreciate having him. Yeah, bro. Before we get into it, can you tell us a bit about what you do professionally?
Yeah, so if you have a clinic right over there in the corner and you need a quick fix, no, I'm joking. Please don't come and shoot me. Okay, so I'm in the construction industry, engineering. I'm a director in the business. Basically, problem solver. That's as simplified as I can put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the crap comes directed to me.
And then you filtered it.
I fix it, yeah.
All right.
Filtration process.
And how long have you been doing this?
In this senior role, it's been about a year, maybe two. In fact, it got to this level, I think, from COVID. The impacts of COVID, I think my input into the business and how I navigated the company through that COVID spell kind of allowed me to get to that level.
Why you keep
I'm trying to see if the man is in like there on the screen, but that strap is because I checked the man's leaning one way to that side, so I can't see.
Oh no, I'm just trying to get comfortable, bro.
Oh, I don't know. You actually are, you know. Like that.
So it's hard, like I say, bro.
Yeah,
I'm very comfy. Like
hundreds. All right. So that's where you are now. I think to give more relatability to the people watching from our areas, let's talk about where you come from and how you got to where you are. What kind of journey have you been on?
Okay. So let me put it out there. I'm working for a family business, but it doesn't mean that that's the reason why I got to where I am, right? And I'm gonna explain how I had started. I didn't start working for a family business. My first job was for what was this place? Chicken Shack. You remember Chicken Shack?
Yeah.
Restaurant there. Yeah, I started out as a waiter. Few other small jobs here and there, but afterwards I'd taken a job at Fabricon, and in fact before that was Spa.
Yeah.
So a lot of the older people, they see me, they remember me being a cashier there. And yeah, you just work, you go to work every day, you do what you need to do. Eventually I didn't like the repetitiveness of it, so I started doing extra stuff in Spa. Even if I wasn't getting paid for it, I started just, if I needed to go and pack shelves, if I needed to go and help the guys in the back by the deli, get involved with shift selection and all that, and then work my way into a promotion into the office. Just because I was just out there, I didn't expect any extra money. Obviously, it did come with extra money afterwards.
Yeah.
But this is getting out there, not being shy. Where your biggest blessing is when you can see there's a problem or frustration in the company. You should immediately try and see how can I fix that. Because that's what's going to get you on the radar of the guys that actually develop you in the business or promote you or give you more money or as if you can be a problem solver.
Yeah, 100%. But I want to ask you a question, bro.
Yeah.
Do you think, because you said you came from a family business, right? Do you think you would encourage people who come from family businesses also, who are still young and are going to take up family businesses? Would you encourage them to go the route you went in terms of going out on your own first, working in other establishments, or just say, you can just go ahead in your, father's or family's business and grow from there? What do you think you would say for people like that?
I've actually never thought about it until now, so it's a good question. I would say it does make it a bit better, and the reason why I say that is you'll never ever wonder what if. You know, if you're in the family business, most of the time you're working to expectations that were created by depending on how many generations the business is in, either your grandfather or father or, or mother or grandmother. You'll never ever sit one day and say, what if I just ventured a different route, You would have seen how things operate in other companies where you don't really have that stripe on your shoulder to say, I'm part of the family,
Yeah.
So it brings about that discipline and that appreciation.
Or that favoritism from the people that's working there. They'll think this person just gets favored because, they're working for the family or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can say, look, I worked
Yeah.
on the grind at Spar, bro. I was a cashier.
Yeah.
I was working in the call center for a month. I know what it's like.
Yeah.
I did this, did that, Because I worked in a family business, not my family, but I worked for somebody who was running a family business, right? And when the Bali was running it himself, obviously he had, similar to yourself, he had done other things prior to starting that business. He worked in security and he worked here and there. And then he started that business, right? Him and his other bras. But then his son had just came straight out of college into the business. And then obviously as a father now, you're going to leave it to your son. And then so when he came into the business, we were there. Obviously we started that business from scratch, right? From like literally 10 of us until it grew to like now 1,000 seats a company or whatever it is. But when the son came in there, just coming from school straight into the business, he didn't have the ropes of what it's like to be sitting on the dial or picking up the phone, or what it's like to be giving service to people that's of something that's not yours.
Yeah.
The stresses that come from that, everything that comes from that, you know what I mean? Understanding the people that you're working with and not just thinking about it from, hey, this is my business in the future. This is somebody else's business completely. So you understand the workers because you sat with them, you complained with them about certain things, you know what I mean? Whereas if you're just coming straight from school into this is just my experience for that guy.
So you're saying there's entitlement that comes with it?
I don't know in terms of everyone, but in that situation there where I was, I felt like there was that because he just knew that, okay, this is a family business, you know what I mean? And he just felt like it was entitlements and everything was silver spoon, basically.
I would think it comes down to how you raised, the type of person you are. If you're someone who takes things for granted, or if you take things for the value that they are, or the value they represent in your life.
Yeah, but honestly speaking, I think his Bali raised him right. Because at Bali there was a man of honor, a man of, integrity and everything. We loved graphing for it also. I would definitely say his Bali raised him right. I just think the lack of experience in the outside world and understanding the normal people that work for you, their struggles, because he had never done that. He just pretty much walked straight into the role of CEO now of this business, So I think that was the aspect, the element of it, and he couldn't really relate, you know what I mean?
Look, in that case, it's a tricky situation because also when he's in college, I'm just assuming based on from his perspective, there was that expectation probably that once I'm done I need to make sure I'm ready because I need to go into this thing with my family and I could take over one day or whatever it is, right? So he's probably got his own pressures as well. Maybe if he's not running it right, maybe he's misunderstood or, But if you part, in my case, right, I was part of it from the birth of it. So when there was 3 employees, I was one of the 3. So I helped develop every single department. There's my handprint is on every single department that currently runs in the operation today. And no matter which position I'm in, I'm still like that. Pizzo works with me. He can tell you firsthand. I don't like running away from if there's problems or I want to get stuck in. I want to do it. You obviously can't expect everyone to be like that. But yeah, and that's why I like saying, be the employee you'd want to have one day. I always tell the guys that if ever people want to know how do you make it in work or how should you be at work, if you're coming to work every day and you feel like you're not getting recognition or you're not getting there's no growth for you, or you're miserable constantly, you're making mistakes constantly, you feel like there's no guidance or just think of that. Be the employee you would want to have one day and see how it changes your output on the job.
Yeah, very powerful stuff. For those who don't know, Delroy, I don't think we mentioned it. He works for DSES Project Solutions, construction company here in the South Basin. I know the lingo off by heart.
Fence line.
Yeah. So with all that's been discussed with your role and how you've gotten there, let's talk about what, if there are any plans from your side or the company side for people who are aspiring to get to where you've gotten, or get some sort of foothold or some sort of security in a company that has growth, a company that has success, instead of just trying to find a shot, just trying to find a quick job here and there to make some ends meet. Is there any plans from your side for the youth, basically, for upliftment?
Definitely. For me personally, it's something I take very personally. I take it to heart. I've got a passion for it. There's a program we run every year, plus minus. It's called the PIT program, Professionals in Training. The idea of the program is to take recent matriculants. We bring them into the company, especially from underprivileged areas like the Gully. We bring them into the business. And the whole idea of the program is to expose them to different positions in a company. Because, I mean, also gonna, if you ask most of the guys, you see them working, the youngsters, what you want to do after school? Hey, anything you had engine that's happening, maybe be a welder, or a mechanical fitter, or QC, or, you know what I mean? But there's other areas in a business that our youth aren't tapping into because they're not exposed to it.
Yeah, they don't know what they don't know.
Show me all that says I want to work in the accounts department of that company.
Hey, very true, huh?
Or the buying departments of that company.
But so why do you think like the people think like that, especially the youth? And also like the youth from here, why do you think that's the mentality that they have here?
Well, it's simple, I think, and this is just my opinion. I think it's the limitations that were given based on our parents, and our parents, their limitations based on their parents. We all say when we grow up we're not going to do certain things that our parents did, you know, but all you know is what you were taught when you were raised. It's only when you're exposed to other situations that you tend to, your brain, you know, it expands and it broadens, your thinking broadens.
But in school, bro, they teach, like I come from Mbilo, right? They never taught us welding and all that. I know like in Fairvale they had certain classes, mechanics and all that, right? We learned biology, business economics, you know, economics, stuff like that. So I don't understand like why. Obviously you're exposed to it in school, you indoctrinated in that pretty much. So when we come out of school, why is it that we have that idea, okay, I'm going to go work in Secunda on the shots, I'm going to go and work in engine. What happened to all that education that you got in school about wanting to go into economics, accounting? We do all that, bro, physics.
Yeah.
You know
Wouldn't it be the environment? They're not coming out of school and seeing all the O's they see every day going to be accountants. They've seen those come back with money, new cars. Where you come from? I come from the shots. Now the cars come with whatever else these lights think they want. Maybe it's woman, or maybe it's their own house, or whatever it is. So I think the environment indirectly advertises a specific route or a certain route instead of all the options that you have at your disposal.
So you're saying if we take these lights out the gully and put them in, say, Amslanga or something, same lights is
where they say accountants only, and
they have that different. They wouldn't want to go and say, can I go and work in your garage? They fix your cab and whatever.
Not a chance, bro. You know the old saying, you are what you eat, right? If you eat junk, you're gonna have an obesity problem or whatever it is, right? Eat healthy, and so forth. It's the same with exposure, lifestyle exposure. If you're exposed to that Amklanga living, then you're gonna aspire for that, because as human beings we're biased towards ourselves and our lifestyle. We want to live the best life that we can. Now where's that bar of best life? I thought high living was Amklanga, and then I went to Zimbabwe and I realized, hey, wait man, Amklanga is looking like Glenwood now. So you understand that you are what you eat. It's what you see in certain lifestyles that'll
But I also feel like there's that element, right? But then there's also an element of when you move to places like Amtlanga, because I lived in Phoenix, which is right there. And I agree with you, say, in terms of, you are what you eat and the environment that you're in. Because I'm older, I came from the Gully. I had an opportunity to move out the Gully, went to go and live in Phoenix, worked in a call center, lived around Amtlanga, experienced a completely different life. Then, okay, now I was getting a cab, I'm staying on my own, I'm chicken egg. Probably if I was in the Gully, I would have been at a different part, right? However, the integration into that lifestyle is very difficult, bro. Because imagine you came from Wentworth, you went to Ambelo Secondary School, you settled those from the flats, you know. Now you're going there, no offense to anybody, but there's white people, Indian people who have a completely different lifestyle. They talk different. You come in, what kind of city? It's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard. And so you either have to adapt or die. You either have to. And for me, coming from here, I can't see myself being like, oh yeah, bro. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah. I did it once when I came back from America and these O's blood me, bro. I was like, what's up?
That was bad.
The O's blood me back to my gully ways. So from there I knew, alright, that's not going to be me. You know? So those are the challenges for me there, bro, in terms of in that aspect. Yeah.
So isn't it, it's about fitting in, essentially. If you're in the gully, you're going to start, I mean, look at me, I'm here now, I'm already tuning in. Like I'm going to invite to my office now, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to be talking to the O's like that.
Yeah.
So I think it is about fitting in. And then fitting in your based on your environment and those that you're around. So I would say one step if you want to succeed in life, especially in career, go and surround yourself with people that have succeeded. Their ways or their experiences will rub off on you.
Will they accept you though?
You see.
Will they just accept you? Because naturally everybody has a pack mentality on some level.
Yeah.
You will only accept that which you are comfortable with. And I can't imagine myself being successful and being comfortable with somebody who has no mind for success. I'm not saying I hate them or I shun them, but I mean socially, if you're going to be around them, you have to be around them frequently. I can park with this broker maybe once or twice, we can drink, we can talk. But every day, either he's going to learn from me or I'm going to learn from him.
Yeah.
So it's a scary place to put yourself in.
And you know what's unfortunate? He learning from you part is not going to happen more often than not because you work in his environment for his people. You know what I mean? So it's like you got to learn from him because you came there. He never came here.
Yeah.
And that's the next question I want to ask you, sir. Why do you think it is that colored people are struggling to own stuff, like to be the bosses of stuff? Like in your situation, you've got a multi-million rand company, but a lot of us are working for multi-million rand companies. We're not owning that multi-million rand company. You know, when you look at the top, it's white people, black people, even Indian people. It's hardly colored people that are actually owning. Why are we always the employee and
never
not
the employer?
Yeah.
Look, again, it goes back to exposure. What you're exposed to. Most of the time, especially with our colored community, that's how it was with their parents and their parents' parents, for example. In my case, my grandfather owned a business in Wentworth, but he still had a business. And so it was almost natural that both his sons own businesses because they've been exposed to it. They know what it can bring. They also know the work that needs to go into it, you know, and then that holding on part as well. So I think it comes back to exposure. There's a book, I don't know if you've heard of it, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert
100%.
Kiyosaki.
I read that book, yeah.
Yeah. Two different dads. One is his biological father, the other one is his friend's
father, yeah.
Yeah. And then how his thinking changed just because he saw how his friend's father operated and he compared it to how his father operated. So, look, all our parents do our best to raise us based on what they know. We'll do the same with our children.
You know, that's important because in that book, the friend's father teaches him how to create businesses. You know, they said make the money and all that there. His father was teaching him how to go to school to work for somebody who created a business. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's 100%, bro. And I think that's what the schools pretty much do now. You go there and they teach you to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning to go to school because when you come out, you're gonna wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to class.
They
indoctrination.
Institutionalize you.
Institutionalize.
That's because even at school we know when the bell rings for break, we can stop working, we can eat food. At work, there's a break time, we can stop working, we can start. It teaches you to be an employee. The whole system is designed that way, which brings me to my next question. It's all well and good talking about we want our own businesses or the success of how hard we work to get to where we are. One of the biggest things, if not the biggest thing, that breaks a lot of people who maybe try is discouragement from failure as a result of failure. When you fail, when you try and you fail, it's like you send your CV in, you don't get the job. That thing breaks you a little, eats at you a little bit. Maybe once is fine, maybe you got thick skin. 3, 4, 5, 10 times your CV is getting rejected. Before you know what, you're sitting with the O's, you got a quote in your hand talking about, hey, there's nothing there for me. How do you deal with being rejected, with your plan not working the first, second, or third time?
Yeah, look, it goes back to what you want out of it. So if you want a job in a specific field, you got to go and put in the work, do the research, try and understand what are they looking for me to get into that field. Maybe the position you're applying for isn't right for your current skill set. Maybe you still need to go and get a few other items, prerequisites, in order to qualify for that position. I review CVs constantly. If a candidate meets the minimum requirements, automatically it's like, let's bring this person in for an interview. But if they don't meet a certain requirement, for example, when people apply for work where they have to be by a desk, using a computer with Microsoft Office, etc., but their CV looks like it was typed out on Word 2003, automatically I disqualify that person, because how are you going to produce good quality documents for me if you can't produce, it's your
CV,
this is resume,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is your interview without you interviewing.
Exactly.
Very much, yeah.
So you've got to look at, what am I doing wrong if I'm not getting called back? Some companies, with our employment equity and stuff, sometimes you get disqualified just because you're not the right color.
Yeah.
So, but then most of the other companies as well, you've got to try and figure out the pattern. Am I underqualified? Am I overqualified? Or should I change something on my CV?
Is there such a thing of being overqualified, bro?
Yeah.
Yes.
How so?
Based on when we've made decisions like that in our business, it's risk based. So if ever you've been turned down for being overqualified, or you have a feeling, this is the reason, right? They look at how long will you be with us before you realize your worth and you're gone. Maybe we've only got X amount of budget for this position for the next year or two, How long before you realize, hey, wait, man, I'm a king here and I'm operating in someone else's kingdom. And then you decide to do what human beings will naturally do, which is look for better opportunity. Now we stuck without a resource again. So it's risk-based. It's not, it could be, and I'm going to throw it out there because sometimes it does happen, where if a certain manager is reviewing the CV, they might feel threatened.
Yeah, it's okay. That's all can do my job better than me.
He's
Can't
going
bring
to
him
me
here.
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
He's going to come in and make me look bad.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be the case. Good managers should hire good people so that they do less work.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
essentially
That's
it.
the thing. I saw something. There was this. Oh yeah, right. He was hired by this company. I think he was Chinese or something like that. So he was hired by this company to do a specific role, right? But this didn't know nothing about the role. Nothing. I don't know. Maybe he made the world's best CV or whatever to convince the O's, right? So what he did, he outsourced everything. He said, okay, this was gonna get the supply, blah, 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 blah. And the graph was like excelling. Actually it was from a book that was summarized. There's this YouTube channel that I follow where they summarize different books. And I think it was called Think and Grow Rich or whatever, this book they're talking about. And then this all ended up doing that. He ended up saying, all right, this I'm gonna get whatever materials from here, you'll do this, you'll put it together, you'll do the web design, whatever, right? And he was getting paid, let's say, like 100 grand. And all the work that he needed to do cost like 20 grand. So because he was outsourcing it from Singapore, and the job was being done to the T, bro, like mother. And then all the time people used to watch him, he's always on internet, trolling games or whatever. People started saying, how are you doing this or whatever?
Yeah.
Then they started like to investigate now, right? And then the company realized that this was outsourcing everybody so that he can have his own free time, because he would come into craft whenever, leave whenever, like a free role.
But the graph has been done.
And they fired him. And then the other person said, look here, if you really were smart, you would promote this guy and start using his methods to grow your business even more. Why you fired her? Oh, bro.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing as company pride?
Company pride?
Yeah.
In what way? Pride gets thrown a lot these days.
Not that kind of pride. But I'm saying that sounds like something the company felt wronged they rushed to feel wronged instead of looking at the situation for what it was, an opportunity.
That was a genius, bro, for doing
So if you personify a company as a person, that sounds like a pride issue, where your pride got hit like this. How can this person do this to me? Kind of a thing. They must go instead of how it can work for you. That's I'm asking. Is there such a thing as company pride or corporate pride? Let me say whatever.
I don't think you blame it on a company. I think you blame it on whoever the person
Made the
is.
decision
Whoever that person is, you know what I mean, in that particular role. Because I've experienced that as well before. Same company I was telling you about now, where the son came in and everything. I feel like his pride was a bit knocked, because we had a conversation and I told him, bro, honestly speaking, I was before you. I helped build these walls that you're talking about. I know, and I was in a operations management position at that point. You know, I wasn't like a agent or whatever. So I said, what I'm talking about, I know exactly. I was there from day one. And I feel like his pride was a bit hurt.
He was in the books while you were building walls.
You know what I mean? His pride was a bit hurt. So I think in that case, it's the person itself. You know, I don't think it's the company to blame, because I feel like if maybe his dad or whatever was involved in that, in terms of the whole company, I think there would have been a different outcome. I wouldn't have.
So if you had better actual insights of the company, things would have been different.
100%.
Speaking of insight into company, you work in one of the most, what word can I use? Colored, ambitious fields. On some of the most colored, ambitious sites, everybody knows they wanna, from the Kali, they wanna go to Engine, they wanna go to Island View, they wanna go to wherever the work is. We're not gonna reinvent the wheel here and make people all try and become accountants. So there's obviously still gonna wanna be people, or maybe, and there are people who are actually passionate about those fields in the construction world. What would you say the best method to get involved in it would be, other than studying or going into a course? Is there anything else that you see people are lacking, like they're not applying themselves fully in, that they would need once they get into that world?
In terms, like generalized positions?
Yeah, generalized positions. We're not specific. I'm talking about, but I'm also talking about the more common hands-on stuff, boiler making, mechanical, welding, whatever it is. That's side resources like that. What are people not doing as much as they should be doing before they get onto that work in order for longevity or success?
Look, I can give a generalized roadmap, you know, to this question. Yeah, in our industry, what makes us different to like IT or medical industries and stuff is that it's project-based most of the time. And every project is a new opportunity. So you come in as a general assistant on one project, maybe your second project, you're a general assistant. But by the third project, you know, if you're a good resource, the company will hold on to you. Why would the company let go of a person of value, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about spiritual value. Everyone's valuable. But on your third project, at least, you should be tapping the supervisor or someone in management and saying, look, I've already done research on how to do boiler making, for example, or you know, QC checks. I've already started doing my own research at home or based on watching the guys. Can I please be given an opportunity? You might not get the instant yes, but at least someone will identify there's hunger there.
It's in their head now. Yeah, the seed is planted. Exactly.
I learned planning by myself. After hours, my father would teach me how to do planning, and this was before DSES. This was when I was in a previous company, and I wanted to grow in that company. So I asked him after hours, please teach me how to use Microsoft projects, and you know, and he taught me. Taught me some of the tricks. He taught me, you know. And while I didn't end up working in that role in that company, when I did come to DSES, it came in handy quite a bit because I already knew it. And yeah, so going on to site just to go and learn. Eventually, I picked my hand up and I said, "Can I please be given an opportunity to do the planning?"
What are the risks for somebody? Because you said, you know, if you're not able to afford going to do a course or whatever the case is, what are the risks of somebody coming to your company or any company and saying, look, I'm unemployed, I want to work for your company for free and learn. I want to start as an assistant for free, because that same course you'd have been doing, probably not going to get paid for it. You have to pay for that course, you know, so you can't afford to do that. But what are the risks for the business and maybe for the person as well? Because I'm thinking, if I'm going to do that as a person, maybe the company will use me for as long as they can for free, you know, as much as I've gained a lot of experience.
Would the company even use a person like that?
What's the risks for the company?
Look, I wouldn't shun that idea. Nobody's ever brought it to our table, in all honesty. So as you were talking about it now, like a light bulb went off. You know, it's similar to our PIT program, but it's more,
Site-based.
I would say, site-based, yeah. I don't think there's a risk for a company, especially if you're going to go to a company where you have an idea that the owners or the management have ethics, you know. And when the guys are on the field, I always get recommendations. The site management will bring to me and say, hey, that guy there, hold on to him. Or, hey, can we please send him to go do a grinder course or a welding course or something, you know. He's got something in him and he's got that hunger and he wants to learn. So the feedback it gets taken up, you know. But yeah, you're right. That could be a good place to start. Going there and saying, hey, you know what, for free. If the company is obviously going to take advantage of you as the individual will be able to identify.
But then you still have that experience.
But then you got the experience.
You still have the work
That's it.
Yeah, you can still put on your
Yeah.
CV to say.
All right. So with all that's been said, speaking of site-based and colours, I had to touch on this, even if it's just in closing. What's all the most red flags that pop up when employing our people from the gullies? Like theft on site, they can't get on site, they got criminal records.
No show on a Monday after a long weekend.
Or they show up and they blow red by the gates and they get sent home. What are the things that you deal with? Let me call it gully mentality. Because not only our people, but it's mainly our people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said it. It's not always corner
No, we speak the truth, yeah.
Yeah, that's a reality, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. We can try and defend it and sugarcoat it as much, but when I get that message to say, you know, 2 people didn't rock up today on a Monday, I already know it's this demographic that probably didn't show up, you know, or the day after payday, or you know, whatever it is. There are red flags. There's definitely red flags, especially when that's why we interview people as much as we can. We're one of the only companies that actually interviews for on-site work, be it boiler making or welding or, you know. Other companies like that I've worked for, the guys will just send their certificates or whatever, do a test or whatever, and then they're
on, yeah.
But there was no sort of interview for you to get to know the people. We're a bit different. We want to get to know you because at the end of the day, yes, we engineering, we construction, there's a brand that's out there that we're selling, you know. So we've got to be very careful of that. And you're right, it was actually one of the challenges. Engine had that RTT conversion. You know, they closed the refinery.
Yeah.
And everybody knows about this project. But there's a lot of rumors that's going around that they're going to flatten this whole land and change everything up. It's not the case. But long story short, we got given the first part of it. Us and another company to do the first part of it. And I think a few days in, there was protests outside the gate. Guys were saying we must hire local, etc.
Pretty sure Quincy was there. Yeah.
But fortunately for us, most of our staff is local,
Yeah.
so it is on the fence line. But the requirement from the client is that it must be 80% and above, and we stuck to that. But when I went and I checked the actuals, it was about 70% local that they manage collectively with all the contractors.
Yeah.
So there's 30% that the guys are giving to outside areas.
Yeah.
And when I say outside, I'm talking about maybe it's outside of the South Durban basin.
Yeah.
And I think one of the fundamental reasons is because of reliability. I'll rather trust a guy that's traveling 25, 30 minutes on a highway where there's the risk of traffic but know that he'll get to work than to trust someone that lives up the road that you don't know if he's going to rock up on a Monday or Friday or, you know.
Yeah.
So we need to actually change that. And then we were able to get 100% employment rate, if we just change that.
100% solid, man.
How can things change? How do we change? Do we need to build more churches? What do we need to do? How will we change things where we can get something like 100%?
I would say you're not going to get it done overnight, but it's exposure. I'll keep going back to that. I'm actually doing a research paper. I'm finishing my degree now, and I'm doing a research paper that's speaking to the government high schools. There's a lack of computer education. When I say lack, I'm meaning there's nothing. There's no computer education. So our children aren't being exposed to Microsoft applications from school. So even if you get your matric, you're not yet employable.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the basics, and no company is willing to train you on the basics. So if there is, they're very far.
Yeah.
Few and far between, So I would say we need to start in our education system. If government can't assist us in that, then I don't know how we're gonna. You can start with local community leaders. You can start where companies do programs like our PIT program. But it'll take long. But
It's
more instant rectification is if government can get involved.
But why would somebody who's working on engine on site as a boilermaker need Microsoft?
If they look, trade careers they're there. I don't speak down on it. The guys they're there. You can make a living off it. You can live and have a happy family off it. And we need them. More importantly, we need the guys. Why would they need it? Everyone wants to grow in their career. We're currently looking for a draftsman, somebody to do the drawings for our job. And the one thing that the guys are saying isn't there a boilermaker that knows or that's computer literate? Because the draftsman's going to draw stuff for the boilermakers. Wouldn't it be wise to have a boilermaker drawing stuff
for the boilermakers? Yeah.
But now it's difficult because Omati that's graphing as the boilermaker, he hasn't been exposed to computer education. So even if he wants to learn, if he doesn't have the basics, it's going to be very difficult.
In conclusion, I think it's been a very educational episode. I learned a few things that I didn't know. Like, you can outsource graph from a company to other people. But for those who are looking to work diligently and maybe outsource graph for your company, how do they get a hold of you? How do they get hold of you in a applying capacity, like they're trying to apply for position at your company or anything of that sort?
So if it's guys that are in the field already, trying to get work, maybe you're a boilermaker or welder, maybe you're a QC or safety officer, there's an email address, hr@dses.co.za.
We'll put it below, don't stress. Yeah.
Send your documents through, please. I can't stress it enough. Put your position that you're applying for in the subject line. It helps with because there's thousands of CVs that come through, and it will help. If we type a search, safety officer, it'll bring it up. If you just send your stuff through and not say anything, again, it goes back to safety officer needs to do documents. But look at how you're sending your application. So yeah, if you're a junior and you don't have experience, you don't know what you want to do, you want to get involved, you just want to make something of yourself, and you see our company as a starting point, there's a different email address. It's called careerprog@dses.co.za. You can send a letter. If you've got matric, send your results. If you don't have matric, send a motivation letter as to why didn't you finish it. I'm not saying your reasons are wrong. Everyone's reasons are different.
Yeah.
And yeah, it'll definitely be considered.
What about people who want to collaborate with your business? How do they get in contact with you?
Yeah, that's a good question. It depends on what
it's good questions.
Well, that's why you're the captain.
Hey.
Look, collaboration and stuff. Come to our offices. Come and see us. We'll phone first. Set a meeting. Just to avoid disappointment, because the guys are very busy, especially now. Work is picking up. All the managers are dispersed amongst projects and sites. You don't want to come there and there's nobody there. Set a meeting, an appointment, and then come to the office.
Are you on social media, LinkedIn?
Yeah, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. I think that's it for now.
What's your LinkedIn, Facebook plug if people want to go?
DSES Project Solutions. Straightforward.
100%.
We'll put it on the screen as well. Don't worry. It'll be here while we're talking. Awe, thank you so much for coming through, bro, sharing with us. I know it was very informative. I hope people watching till the end. There's a lot of gems here, especially for people looking for work within our communities or in the surrounding areas. And Awe,
no, shot for having me. I'm really grateful to be part of this. It's something different. It's not your typical, especially from the gully. That's why I said no. I'll come here and do it. It's this type of initiatives that eventually spread.
But he
amongst
parked his
us.
cab in the yard. Didn't want to leave it on the road.
You keep telling stories about bullets flying past.
Hey, happens to the best of us.